US Secretary of State Marco Rubio just a few minutes ago talked to Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. What did the two discuss? Was the call about Eritrea or about GERD? Uh, I'll have a detailed look at the phone call between Rubio and Abiy. Secondly, Sasavurki is going to speak again tomorrow on the 23rd of July, Wednesday. Second part of his interview will be released. Well, let's start, viewers. Thank you for watching the channel. Just a few words about situation in Raya. In a video a few hours ago, I told you about the situation there. People are spreading rumors, so be careful. Don't propagate any information without corroboration. Some people are saying that Eritrean military is part of the operation to dismantle government in southern Tigray. Incorrect. There is no Eritrean military in southern Tigray. Getachew supporters are spreading these rumors. Others are saying fighting has begun between TPF and Tigray military. Again, nothing confirmed so far. Military's mobilization, TDF's mobilization, Tigray militia, police mobilization, I confirming since Monday, but no news, no confirmed news of fighting between TPF and Tigray military. So all these rumors are being spread by people with vested interests. Don't believe anything, just try to confirm. I am watching very closely, people helping me. You can help me too. We must ensure that we cover the situation in Raya with impartiality and with responsibility. So we won't be part of spreading rumors and propaganda about situation there. Now, is Afwerki, Eritrean president, going to be interviewed on Wednesday again? First part of his interview was released 72 hours ago. 2-hour long first part of the interview in which he focused on global and regional issues. Basically, that part was directed at Ethiopia. At the end of that part of the interview, the journalists asked Isaias Afwerki if there could be a second part about domestic issues, and he said he was busy, but he would take some time out. And it seems that Isaias Afwerki now has time available to speak on internal domestic issues too. Hopefully, this second part of Sasavurki's interview will focus on internal issues. It will be aired tomorrow, as usual. After the interview, I'll do detailed video. I would request you, if you happen to watch, do share your input with me during the interview and after the interview. And at the end of the interview, I'll do a video tomorrow. I think this pressure should be kept on Eritrean government, because when first part was released, several people questioned Sasavurki. They said the man did not say a word about Eritrea, and when journalists asked him to speak about Eritrea in second part, he said he will take time out for that. Pressure worked. Now he is going to speak on internal issues. When I criticize Eritrean government, Eritrean president, I mean that the governments are to be held accountable. These people in power are not gifted by God to rule. They are servants to the people. The problem is that people don't want to question them. Instead, they start criticizing me. They say, you are promoting conflict, you're promoting violence, you're promoting terrorism by criticizing Eritrean government, Eritrean president. We Eritreans have the right to decide who will rule us. You don't have the right. This is the issue. You don't have the right. Your right is being denied and you're not ready to raise your voice. If someone points it out, you call him anti-Eritrean. So pressure should be kept on Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean government, PFDJ. They should tell the people what they have done for the country in the last 30 years. And is there no better option? Why is that only they are the ones who can rule the country? Why not others? Why is there remaining in power a thing which has not changed in Eritrea in the last 30 years? Why can't other parties be formed? This question should be asked by Eritreans who support the government. It does not mean that they would be anti-Eritrea, anti-Eritrean government if they ask such questions. Let's see what happens tomorrow. We'll do a video on that. Back to menu servers. Ethiopian PM spoke with Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, confirmed. Your State Department has issued a statement confirming the phone call between Marco Rubio and the Ethiopian PM. The State Department mentions 2 points about the phone call. Firstly, regional dialogue. Marco Rubio stressed regional dialogue for peace and stability. Secondly, economic cooperation for economic progress in Ethiopia in the Horn of Africa. So these are the 2 points mentioned in your State Department's press release about phone call between Abiy and Marco Rubio. Firstly, we must not forget that Ethiopia wrote a letter to Marco Rubio a few weeks ago. Gideon Timotheus wrote a letter to Marco Rubio. The letter solely focused on Eritrea-Ethiopia relations. Gideon said that Eritrea was going to wage war on Eritrea in the ongoing rainy season. That Eritrea is in occupation of Ethiopian territories. Eritrea is committing human rights abuses in Ethiopian territories. International community should step in to stop Eritrea. Eritrea is arming, training, funding Ethiopian fighters groups. Eritrea allegedly training, backing TPLF. This is what was written in that letter. And then today, Marco Rubio and Abiy talked. Economically, US has a lot to offer to Ethiopia, but nothing comes for free. US can offer a restoration of Ethiopian status in AGOA, African Growth and Opportunity Act. Under this act, exports from other countries to US have duty-free access to US markets. Ethiopia had this access to US markets, but during Tigray war, US suspended Ethiopia from AGOA, which obviously hurt Ethiopian economy. Ethiopia wants restoration of its status. Secondly, USAID, its programs were suspended, but most have resumed. Ethiopia relies a lot on USAID support, and last year Ethiopia was the second highest recipient of USAID assistance after Ukraine, I think. Thirdly, international financial institutions, IMF and World Bank, have the backing of the US government and European governments. Ethiopian economy is relying on the support given by IMF and World Bank. Ethiopia is part of IMF package, which it has received. If US tells IMF and World Bank to pressurize Ethiopia, it could be devastating for Ethiopian economy, and US can do that. Economically, US has a lot to offer to Ethiopia and a lot to use against Ethiopia. And economically, obviously, Ethiopia wants something from US, not vice versa. When it comes to regional dialogue, this is where US wants something from Ethiopia. Good, firstly. Egypt lobbying, asking US to intervene, though Egypt is not agreeing to US plan of relocating Palestinians from Gaza into Egypt. But still, I think Egypt is a key ally of the US. US won't alienate Egypt. US needs Egypt in the Middle East. Egypt shares border with Gaza. I don't think that US will just ignore Egypt. So Egypt might not agree to settlement of Palestinians on its soil. Still, I think US will support Egypt on the issue of GERD. So maybe Rubio asked Ethiopian leader Abiy to talk to Egypt, and talks could start. Abiy announced the inauguration of GERD, that it will happen in September, and after the announcement, we saw that Egypt became active. Trump, at least 3 times in the last few days, said that GERD was funded by the US. Let's see what Ethiopia does. And lastly, Eritrea Ethiopia relations. Gideon Timotheus intimated uh, Rubio about the gravity of situation. Rubio maybe is calling for dialogue. Eritrea has hired some lobbying firms too. It is hoping to start a new era of good relations with the US. This is what was evident from Isaias Afwerki's talk 3 days ago when he gave the interview. And he hoped that in 2026 there could be better relations, there could be improvement in US Eritrea relations. So at this point of time, US does not want war between Eritrea and Ethiopia. I'll do a separate video on that in coming days. So maybe Abiy was told by Rubio to take the path of dialogue for gaining sea access. I think contents of this phone call will be clear in coming days. So for just 2 points mentioned, I think good Eritrea-Ethiopia relations, AGOA, IMF, World Bank, USAID. These were the main points discussed by Trump, by Rubio, and the Ethiopian PM. The Ethiopian government, the US government has been calling for dialogue in Ethiopia to solve the conflicts in Oromia and Amhara, saying that for lasting peace, there should be dialogue between Fano and government, Ola and government, TPLF and government. US is the guarantor of Pretoria deal. The Pretoria deal is on the verge of a collapse. TPLF is activating its assets abroad, its lobbies abroad, asking the US to intervene to pressurize the Ethiopian government to talk to the TPLF. So we could see start of talks between TPLF and federal government to, if Abiy agreed in that phone call with Rubio to talk to TPLF. Let's see what happens. Thanks for watching.